I guess you want to just start off by telling us kind of how your passion for gaming started?
Um, let's say that's a long journey. I started playing when I was probably 2 or 3 years old. I got an old PlayStation right after my parents got divorced, and I got a PlayStation to keep me occupied while they're dealing with their stuff. We had to move a few times. I'd say like before the age of 6 or 7. I've been in like three, maybe four different homes. And for a while, I only had my PlayStation to keep me occupied. Then when my mom met this new guy, he's pretty cool. He got me a PlayStation 2 and a few games, so I like him quite a bit.
So kind of kicked off like a escape from what was going on between your parents.
Yeah, I was pretty young to understand, but when they start to talk about like, oh, we're going on through this, and that, and I was like, oh.
What was your favorite games when you were growing up?
On the PlayStation 1, I used to play a lot of Spyro the Dragon. Since we didn't have conditions to buy original games, we got the pirated ones on a local store. The game would glitch out very often. We usually buy games in this little store, and there's always like, oh, try to beat this game today so we can return it and you can get a new one. It was a pretty fun time.
With your parents' divorce, did you have to live between their houses or did you just live with one of
Uh,
them?
no, I just live with my mom. My dad was in conditions to having me, so I would visit him like maybe once a month, twice if it was a lucky month. And after some time, it got less often. I would visit him maybe once every 2 months, once every 4 months, until I eventually stopped. I was maybe 10 when I stopped, and when I was 11, I heard the news that he passed away.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. It's been quite a while, and I got used to it. I didn't spend too much time with him, so when I look at him, I didn't think he was my dad. I spend most of my time living with my stepdad, which for me it's more of a dad than my dad would ever be. He raised me all my life.
You didn't see him as your father, but do you have any fond memories with him from when you were a kid?
Not really, because I didn't spend too much time with him. I have a few memories, like he had this old Mercedes. He was very wealthy at the time, and he had the tendency of drink a lot whenever he was alone. It was like, I don't know, 1 maybe 2 liters of whiskey every night. It was pretty bad stuff. One time he was like, "Hey, you wanna go out a bit, drive for, I don't know, 5 minutes?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then he sat me on his lap and like, "Okay, you take control of the steering wheel." And I didn't think of it. I was just driving. And when my mother found out, she was mad.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I was probably 4, maybe 5, so it was a pretty big deal. And I didn't realize that. I was just having fun. I thought that was awesome.
Do you think he tried when you were growing up to be a good dad?
Well, he tried, but he only started trying once he realized that he lost. My mother said that he would get jealous of me because she was spending more time with me than with him. She said he would often threaten me, and whenever I think bad of it, it's a totally different viewpoint of that. And once she left him, he realized, oh wait, I lost all of that. So he tried to compensate for everything.
Do you forgive him for that?
I don't even remember that, so there's not much I can forgive him for. It's not like that scarred me. I don't even remember that. I just trying to forget it. That's the 5 stages of grief. My way of thinking about it is not go past stage 1.
Hey, well, if that what makes you happy, then all for you, more power to you. So, I know this seems like an odd question to ask, but what video games were you playing around that time in your life?
I don't recall exactly. I probably had a Nintendo Wii at that point. Really, like dumb games that my stepdad, but well, my dad, he would get those bottom of the bin games. He would get me those. I think I played like Astro Boy, the Spider Witch Chronicles. I mostly started thinking about the development of games a few years ago when I started getting ideas of my own. I would make my own board games and have people to play with. I have this little demo. It's like the game of life. But instead of going through a normal life, it was really tragic stuff. The last game I developed, which was actually a card game, it's basically a game where you can play wherever you want without knowing how to play the game. The game explains how to play as you play along.
You're in what now, right, or college?
Yeah, I'm at college.
And you major in game design?
Game development. The course I do is called Games Technology. That's the best way to translate that. The college I do it has the most diverse of the whole country. Like we have programming, art, animation, narrative, script writing, audio design, basically everything that you would ever need to make a full game, they teach there. I'm mostly an animation guy. It's mostly design and animation. That's what I plan to pursue when I get actually really good at it. There's a game I dreamed about, literally. I was sleeping, had a dream, and thought that could be a good game. The project is currently called Chimera. You know, that beast with several animal body parts. That's the basic premise of the game.
That's pretty cool.
As you play, you encounter enemies who are human but with animal body parts, and those are mix and match, like giraffe legs and gorilla arms or whatever. Okay.
Oh, do any of them look like this?
No, this is what happens
No.
when you raid Area 51.
Are you looking to make games from inside of Brazil, or do you want to move to somewhere in North America or Europe or Japan where game studios like ship out games like every day?
I'm currently actually learning Japanese, so I can have a broader CV, so I can probably find a better job at whatever I wish to apply to. I like superhero movies, I like old comic books, I like recent manga, I like video games in general. It's that kind of stuff that I used to like before it became popular.
A lot of people out there are like that and haven't had to go through some of the early childhood. There's a lot of stereotypes that come with people who are into comic books, who are into anime. Have you ever dealt with stuff like that? Hard to make friends for you, or do you just find people that are in that group and that's how it's easy to make friends?
When I started to get into it, it was kind of hard because the people who liked it didn't want to talk about it. I couldn't actually find people who had the same stuff as I'd like. Now currently it's more popular. So that's just second nature. It's like you're a human. You like geek stuff, no matter what it is. Currently I made myself a method. It's called the F it method. It's like, oh, you're a nerd. You like manga. You're a weeaboo. Fuck it. I don't care. You think what you want. I'm gonna like what I like. It's just a way of not having to deal with stuff. I went to Disneyland on January, and out of the 4 parks I went, I couldn't find Tigger. I was pretty heartbroken. And then when I went to the 4th park, I was like, oh, this is where Pooh and Tigger is. And I spent like 40 minutes in the line. When I got to to Pooh and Tigger, I was like, hey, Pooh. Nice to meet you. And then, wow, Tigger. We were just like hugging and jumping. It was pretty amazing. I still have that picture. I'm proud of that to this day.
That's something that never really think about how far away some people are from. Which Disney World did you go to?
Florida, Orlando. To put into perspective, every American quarter is a Brazilian dollar. We had to save quite a bit to go there.
Mostly all my questions are out of the way. Is there anything else that you want to say? Any advice you want to give?
When you think it's over, keep going, because there's a lot more to it.
Are there any game studios that you want to shout out?
Ubisoft, you can hire me to fix any bugs you may have.
Thank you so much for your time. You shared some stuff with us that, we wouldn't expect everybody to talk about. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. And he leaves us off to become a man with his Tigger and his, I don't know, whatever else he's got. Goodbye, friend.